Hi, I'm Jeff Thomas, Athletic Director of Laconia High School and the Rosendale-Brandon School District, grades 6 through 12, and I'm here to explain the athletic code for the high school level for 2018-19. If you'd like to follow along, if you turn to page 1, Table of Contents, you'll find page 2, Athletics. All students in grades 9-12 are invited to take part in any boys or girls sport if they are eligible. A sports fee is assessed to each student for each sport in which he or she participates. Students interested in participating in sports should obtain a WIAA physical or alternate card and athletic code from the athletic director or secretaries in each of the schools. Very important, the attendance policy, an athlete must be in attendance at school for the full day unless they have received a pre-excused absent or permission from the athletic director or principal. Help make athletics fun. Be courteous, be enthusiastic, be a good sport, be fair, be cooperative, be a good fan. That's the athletes as well as the fans. Philosophy and objective of the athletic code. The Rosendale-Brandon School District believes that athletics are an important part of education and that a variety of sports should be offered for both boys and girls. Participants in athletics is a privilege. Athletes must learn to follow established rules of conduct, training, and to learn to work with others so they are a credit to themselves, their families, their school, and the community. Laconia athletes are expected to conduct themselves with pride in their efforts, regardless of winning or losing, and to realize that teams we compete against are composed of people who also will be giving their best. The responsibilities of an athlete: display good citizenship, display good sportsmanship, display respect for those in authority, including fellow teammates, coaches, opposing teams, and officials. Eligibility rules. This video that you are now watching is a requirement for anyone in the middle school, their first year of athletics, be it 6th grade or 7th grade, need to view this along with their parent guardian. High school, they need to at least once view this video prior to participation in sports their freshman year. Page 4. The WIAA handbook. A student shall be ineligible for interscholastic competition if he/she reaches her 19th birthday before August 1st of any given school year. A 9th grade student shall be ineligible to compete in 9th grade team if he/she reaches her 16th birthday before August 1st of any given school year. Whom may participate? When state law allows eligibility, those students meeting the stated requirements of the law are eligible at state-membered schools on the same basis and to the same extent of the WIAA rules. This also includes home-based private education students. Wisconsin concussion law. Each individual and their parents are required to sign the form and turn in prior to participating in any sport. Those forms are available in any school in the school district. They are also available online. Amateur status. Always, when participating in any sports, if you are receiving some type of an award, always reflect back to what it states in the code here regarding what you can accept and what you can't accept. Very important to keep that amateur status. Non-school participation. A student must not participate in the same sport on any but their high school team during that same season. Example, if you are out for volleyball, you can play volleyball for the high school team. You cannot play volleyball for anyone else. If you are out for basketball and you choose to play club volleyball, you can do so without any disciplinary action. Non-school participation, again, remember, parents, students must pay 100% of any of the expenses, including transportation to any non-school out-of-season camps, clinics, or specialized training. It is not permissible for any person or organization to pay for the athlete. Prior to the athlete participating in the following will need to be turned into your coach prior or that first day of practice. A physical exam card, that is the green card, needs to be signed by the physician and parent guardian, or the second year of eligibility, a alternate card, which would be the yellow card. There's an athletic fee. This year at the high school level, it will be $30. An emergency form. We are doing something new this year. We will send home, first day of practice, the emergency form, which will be completed by the school, asking the parents to check it over to make sure our information is updated, make any corrections, sign, and return back the next day of practice. View athletic code video, and then sign verification form. Parent and athletic agreement forms, again, that's the concussion form, also needs to be turned in first day of practice. No student who is dropped from one squad for disciplinary reasons shall be eligible to compete in another sport during that same season. A student may go out for only one sport per season. This also includes dance team. If the number of athletes try out for a sport is more than the facilities and equipment can accommodate, selections will be made on the basis of ability shown. Squad selection policy. Choosing the members of athletic squad is the sole responsibility of the head coach of that sport. Prior to trying out, the coach will provide the following information to all candidates for the team: the extent of the tryout period, criteria used to select the team, number to be selected, practice commitments if they make the team, and game commitments. When squad cuts become a necessity, each candidate will be personally informed of the cut by the coach. Extracurricular eligibilities. If a student has one failing grade in a quarter, they will go on probation for 15 school days. They can still participate in practice and still participate in contests. After the 15 days, there will be a grade check. Should they then still have a letter grade F in any of the classes that they are taking, they will be ineligible for the next 15 school days, hoping that they will then be able to get their grades up. They will be able to continue to practice, will be again ineligible for any contests. Should they then still have a letter grade F at that point in time, then they are ineligible for the remainder of that season. If an individual would have one or more letter grade Fs, they become ineligible for 28 school days. They will be able to practice, but will be ineligible to participate in any contests. Resident and Transfer Handbook. A student who transfers from any school into a member school, unless the transfer is made necessary by a total change in residence by parents, must do so before attending one or more days of school or one or more athletic practices at the school the student is leaving. If not, the student is ineligible for any level competition for the remainder of that school year, but may participate in practices. Beginning in 2018-19, a student who transfers from any school into a member school after the 6th consecutive semester following entry into grade 9 shall be ineligible for practice and competition for 1 year, unless that transfer is made necessary by a total change in residence by parents. The calendar year will be determined from a student's last day of attendance at school and or last day of attendance at athletic practice. Code of conduct for athletes. Training rules are a matter of self-discipline. An individual's best performance is possible only after the body and the mind have been conditioned through regular training routine. This code is to be followed by all participants in athletics and also those seeking reinstatement after suspension or rulings of ineligibility. There shall be no use or possession of drugs, no use of or possession of illegal drugs, look-alike drugs, or controlled substances. Very important as well, steroids or any other performance enhancing substances are not recommended and are not allowed in the Rosendale-Brandon School District or WIAA. No smoking, possession of smoking materials, or use, possession of tobacco in any form. No smoking, possession, or use of tobacco products or look-alike tobacco products, including electronic cigarettes or similar devices. And yes, this would mean vaping as well. No drinking, possession of alcoholic beverages, no convictions of misdemeanors, felonies, no theft, stealing. An athlete will be suspended for each individual infraction of the code. A student who transfers from any school, whether or not a member, with a status of ineligibility for disciplinary reasons and or as a result of another state association, regulation, or sanction, retains such status as his or her new school for the same period as decreed by the former school. Athletic Review Board. That consists of the high school principal, athletic director, 2 board members, a parent at large, approved by the board, and a school teacher approved by the board. The athlete has an opportunity, along with its parents, to appeal any decisions. Should they choose to do so, they'll need to do it in writing within 14 days. While that individual while the appeal process continues, that individual is ineligible for any contests. Student has an opportunity to self-report any code violations. Student must report within 72 hours of that violation. The self-report must take place prior to any head coach or school administrator calling or speaking with any student about the alleged incident or violation. Student can report to any head coach or school administrator in the district. On page 9, you will find the enforcement and procedure and appeal process. It'll also show you if there is a first offense or second offense and how many games an individual or contests an individual may miss due to the athletic code violation. Third offense, will be a suspension for 180 school days. The suspended athlete must adhere to and sign athletic code on a yearly basis to regain eligibility. Fourth offense will be suspension from any Rosendale Brandon activities governed by the athletic code booklet. Suspensions will begin with the first contest that the athlete is out for and will be prorated and carried over from one sport to another until suspension is completed. Suspensions may not be counted at one level of can only be counted at one level of competition per sport. Example, you can't play JV and then the next day play varsity and get credit. You are either a JV player or a varsity player. If a student athlete is not participating in a sport or is inactive, the suspension will be carried over to the next sport and that student athlete chooses to participate in. If violators intend to participate with a team when their suspension runs out, they must practice with the team until their suspension is ended, and then they may participate in games as a team in good standing. This code cannot anticipate all forms of misconduct that a student could engage in. Therefore, the other forms of misconduct are not specifically stated in this code that are deemed inappropriate by the coach or athletic or activity director may be penalized in accordance with this code. In addition, eligibility for co-curricular activities may be regulated in conjunction with district discipline policies. General rules of the athletic code. An athlete wishing to transfer from one sport to another must gain permission in writing from both coaches involved. No transfer will be allowed if the athlete is under disciplinary action in the sport he wishes to leave. If an athlete misses practice, game, and is unexcused, the athlete will be suspended for the next contest. Competing on club teams or practices is not an excused absence. Other rules will be established by the head coach of each sport in writing and a copy handed out to each participant and athletic director on or before first day of practice. Athletes are under the authority of their coaches, and refusal to obey reasonable orders of coach can be grounds for immediate suspension or dismissal from the squad and or from participation in all or some future Laconia athletic contests. All reports of violations must be submitted to the athletic director in writing and signed by the person making the report within 30 days of the infraction. The school holds the right to suspend an athlete for circumstances that may occur, which deal with violation of school rules that are not necessarily related athletic activities, vandalism, insubordination, profanity, obscene gestures, plagiarism, cheating, theft, threats, harassment, bullying, and conviction of a criminal offense need be considered under this guideline. For plagiarism or cheating offenses, only will result in the following. First offense will be a classroom teachable moment and will be handled as a school offense, not an athletic code violation. Second offense will be an athletic code violation and will be 1 game suspension. Third and subsequent offenses will result in a suspension for 10% of a season for each offense. A reminder that each athlete is responsible for their school equipment that is issued to him or her. Should they lose that equipment, misplace it, they will be responsible to pay in full the replacement. A reminder, the school district furnishes transportation to and from all athletic contests in a school vehicle. Any other mode of transportation to contests must have prior approval of the athletic director. There are occasions when return trips with parents may occur. The parents must sign a consent form before they leave. Seniors in team sports may not compete on the JV level. There is one exception, and that would be an AFS student or student with special needs. Sunday practices can only be held between the hours of 3 p.m. and 8 p.m. provided they have been pre-approved by the principal and or athletic director. These practices cannot be made mandatory. A reminder, community night will be recognized on Wednesdays. All school-related functions are to be completed by 6:45. And this runs from the beginning of the school year until spring or after Easter. Once after Easter, because of spring sports and rainouts and weather, we have made exceptions to have games on Wednesday nights. Requesting to use school-owned equipment or uniforms for senior pictures or what have you, a Rosendale Brandon School equipment request form will need to be filled out and signed by the parent, then approved by AD or designee. You'll find athletic awards on page 12, and then the breakdown of the individual incentive awards on page 13. A reminder that all sports schedules can be found on the Rosendale Brandon School District website. And as always, if you have any questions, concerns, feel free to contact me at Laconia High School, and I will be more than happy to help you out. Thank you.